objective of this project is to achieve and enhance harmonization of efficient and regulatory regime, which also encompasses the gender issues into it as well. We are aware that our regions are very particular in terms of mainstreaming the gender issues in the whatever the programs that we are undertaking, without leaving behind the issue of the environment and climate change, as there are challenges in our region. So, and also is to also to complement what our regulators association in particular are already taking or implementing. There are power pools, what they are implementing in terms of regional integration of our region. We are aware that currently in the different regions, in the Southern Africa, we are in the progress to ensure all the member states are interconnected. In the Eastern Power Pool also, we want to make sure that all the member states there, or the utilities are interconnected. But in addition to that, as part of the Pan-African objective, we want to see that Southern African Power Pool is also connected with the Eastern Power Pool. But the connectivity of all these regions, or the member states from Cape to Cairo, requires enhanced regulatory regime so that nobody's just playing the market without respecting the players. Everybody operate within the regulations and the rules of the markets with this important commodity and service of electricity in particular.
All of the cooperation that EU seeks to undertake is essentially founded on a shared belief in terms of the priorities that the region has set for itself. So it's not coming to just be a sponsor who doesn't care, but a partner in the process of helping and working alongside the region in realizing its ambitions and aspirations. And this is very clear and evident in particular in this program with respect to the Eastern and Southern African region, that what we see and what we are partnering in together through this program is founded on a shared belief of what energy can do for the region. And I don't know if you have thought a little bit about this program, but there's a thought that keeps running through my mind. How does policy and regulation drive growth in terms of energy access, in terms of energy provision, and in terms of energy consumption? And is this really essential for economic growth for the region, which is really one of the key things that everything that we try to do in the region as a citizen of the region is all about? I think that if you look very carefully and critically at this program, you will realize that the structure that you embedded in this program, in its development, has to do with the fact that integrating the market in terms of energy at a regional level enables achievement of efficient scale and scope. And that ultimately should be able to, from an investment perspective, drive more returns from investments, both from public investments as well as from private sector investments in the sector, because you have a wider market. From a consumer perspective, more supply of more efficient energy would imply lower costs of energy, and it would enhance consumption. From a growth and development perspective, more supply of energy, of cheaper energy, lowers costs of production ultimately, and that enhances how much we can produce in a region. It enhances competitiveness. In terms of rationalized public sector investments, for example, the possibilities of a regional market means that perhaps resources, the scarce resources that could be put into certain investments could be rationalized, and there would be more room for investments in things like transmission and distribution, providing more access, perhaps better development of completely off-grid energy access provision to provide the much needed access to energy for the more remote and less densely populated regions.
The energy situation in Eastern Africa, Southern Africa, and Indian Ocean region is a firm indication of how much work the region still needs to do as to ensure that energy becomes a key enabler and a game changer to doing business and increasing the productivity of our industries. And I think Graham has already touched and established that linkages between energy and growth. The challenges in our energy networks, as well as ever-increasing deficiencies in energy supply, are a common feature of most of our countries. Those challenges contribute to the reduction of revenue of our industries through increase in production costs. Any industry being negatively affected by those challenges in the energy sector cannot thrive and create much needed employment for our people or attract the much required investment in our region. So what we are doing here is just to increase supply of energy and to increase the access and to enhance the security, but it's not an end, it's a mean for economic growth. And even economic growth also is not an end, it's a mean for more employment. That's the most important. Poverty reduction, wealth creation, and so on. However, those main challenges include inadequate level and coverage of physical energy infrastructure due to insufficient investment in the energy sector, inefficiency and unreliability of existing energy infrastructure services, and also those challenges include increased economic and population growth, as well as the high cost of operating energy facilities and inability to prepare bankable projects. And I think also would like to stress here, it's very important, preparation of the bankable projects, because you cannot find any cooperating partner or donor to fund you unless you have a bankable project. And you know that energy projects are capital intensive and time intensive. If you want just to prepare a project to be ready for financing, it requires about 4 to 5 years, 3 to 4 years in terms of preparation of pre-feasibility study, feasibility study, engineering design, bankability, and then you come to the implementation phase. It requires maybe about 2 or 3 or 4 years for the big project. So the total cycle, about 7 years in order for you to have a project operational. So this also poses another challenge to our region. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, the energy poverty in the region should be seen as an investment opportunity for power generation on regional basis and an opportunity to build regional power interconnectors in order to facilitate trade in power surplus from surplus to the deficit regions. And now, as indicated by my colleague and brother Moses, most of the power interconnectors are operational, particularly in the southern part of our region, but still those who are in the eastern part of the region, in Eastern Africa Power Pool region, I think most of them will be operational by the end of 2019 or so. So from that time, the region, Eastern Africa, Southern Africa, and Indian region is going to witness a massive power trade. So it means that regulation is very important. We need to comply and abide by the rules of the game. Also, high priority should be accorded to the development of regional energy infrastructure, which should assist to achieve economies of scale. Also, when you have sometimes big energy infrastructure, you can also have the advantage of economies of scale and scope, and also networking of economies of scope and economies of scale and scope. In this regard, I wish to indicate that this project on the enhancement of sustainable regional energy market in Eastern Africa, Southern Africa, and Indian Ocean, whose financing agreement was signed in 30th of May 2017, will enhance the sustainable regional energy market in Eastern Africa, Southern Africa, and Indian Ocean region. It is therefore envisaged that the project will enhance the energy security, accessibility, and affordability in the region. Moreover, this project provides, and I stress here, it provides a framework for all key energy players in the Eastern Africa, Southern Africa, and Indian Ocean region to work together.